This meeting is being recorded. Recording in progress.
Well, at least something is in progress, huh?
It's always good when something is in progress.
Yes, yes. How you doing?
I'm okay. I'm worried about my friends up in Kentucky and
Yeah,
Middle Tennessee and Virginia and here. Actually, we're supposed to get those big storms later tonight.
yeah,
I just
yeah,
we're just tired of storms. I'm tired of
yeah.
storms.
And we're getting these late summer storms, and it's not late summer.
No, it is not.
That's the way
It
it
is.
used to be. You get the big booms in the afternoon and evening because everything had heated up.
Mm-hmm.
And here it is, it's May, and we're getting these every day. I'm here, chance of severe thunderstorm, chance of severe thunderstorm. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. You know, don't know.
Something ain't right, Alicia. Something ain't right.
Something ain't. That's the second time you and I've said that today. Something ain't right about that
Well,
now.
I don't know, but man, something ain't right about it.
Well, it's very apocalyptic, very biblical. So I wonder if I have Christian friends getting nervous right now.
Uh, yeah,
They're not, well, they're not supposed to be getting nervous about it, but
no, exactly.
it's
I
supposed to
tell
be
you,
looking.
my grandfather, who was just the stoutest Christian I ever knew, he was scared of dying because he wasn't sure that he'd ever been good enough to go to heaven. And I would argue theology with him, and I said, you don't have to be good to get to heaven. That remember Jesus. You don't have to be good to get to heaven. You just have to believe on the Lord Jesus Christ. That's all you have to do. You know that. I mean,
Well,
I don't believe it, but you know it. And he said, well, yeah, I mean, I've done that, and I go and I take communion and all that, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm just nervous about it. Bless his heart.
I have a theory about it. I do. When I hear stuff like that, my theory is you, the if they have those kind of fear and doubts, it's two things. One, it's fear of the unknown, and two, it's a feeling in their brain that maybe there's something else. Maybe
Maybe, maybe. I mean, because I
because
was always real clear with him that I didn't believe the way he believed. And he wasn't rude or hateful, but he just was sad because he had that deep, abiding feeling that when I died, he would not see me. I would not be in the place that he was. And I was too young to temper my belief
yeah,
to give him more comfort.
I get
And
that.
I would do that now. And if I ever had that opportunity again, I would still do it. But yeah,
Yeah,
and it could just be that he was raised. God, he was raised, I think, on a sharecropping farm in Georgia, and it just it was not a good early life, and he may have just felt like he was never going to be good enough for
that could be.
anything,
That
and
could
so he
be.
just wasn't going to be good enough for Jesus either. I don't know.
I don't know. I
That's
remember
terrible.
when I was having my inner tug of war about it. One of my arguments to myself was, well, none of that stuff makes any sense, but I've seen with my own eyes many other things that this is how the earth works. This is what we can expect from it, not this other teaching from the Bible. And then I'd say, well, I'm just not good enough, I guess, because this is all I can see. I just don't get it. I just don't get, just doesn't seem right. And I did argue with myself about that for a long time. And for a long time, I had the whole guilt thing of, and then finally I just accepted it and said, I'm going to quit arguing with myself about it because I can't, logic, logic, it means something. Thinking, I have my brain, I use it. And I'm not
Yeah.
saying that people who have that deep abiding belief don't use their brains. I'm just saying I don't have the feeling that they get. I've seen
Well, and
people, they feel it, they do.
but I don't think they use their brains in the same way. So you are questing and questioning, and they don't do that. And they're taught from, early on that that's not what you do. You don't have to question any of this because it's either the will of God or the word of God or, whatever
Mhm.
piece of God it is.
There's multiple examples in the Bible of people who were getting chastised for not having enough faith. Yeah, and he would put people through all these tests just to see if they'd keep the faith according to the Bible. I don't know. We should not get me started on that subject because I'll just
It
go
seems
and go.
rude, doesn't it? Yeah.
Go. Weren't we going to talk about something really pleasant like
No.
interstate?
Oh, yes. Now, I've not been down 26 in a long time. So, what's going on? You have to do that one
Well,
pretty often, don't you?
yeah, no, I never take interstates unless I just have to. But I did the other day. I was in a hurry for something, and I took the interstate from Hendersonville to Long Shoals Road. That's about as far as I want to go on it. And brand new interstate. It's either 6 or 8 lanes, and
Oh,
it's
Lordy.
very smooth driving. And it was not nerve wracking. But I got off at
Mm,
Long Shoals Road because the rest of the damn interstate into Asheville is, white knuckle for me. It's
yeah.
one lane and it's just crazy drivers, and I wasn't cut out for that. I was cut out for a truck that I could hang my arm out of when I'm tooling along, and just play some sort of really crappy music and love it. That's what I wish I could live my life like that every day.
Well, me too. Me too.
I was thinking about this podcast, and I was thinking I'd really love to figure out some way to convey to the folks who listen what it is that we talk about when we have this nostalgia for this time gone by in Western North Carolina. And I have not been able to figure out how to really describe the feeling, but it was a feeling, it was a quieter in your brain feeling for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I I remember one of my favorite things to do, and you can tell that this was a long time ago, was to get out and drive. I love to drive and have the radio on and just go see places and stuff like that. I'd stop off and pick up honey or find some morels or whatever it was I was doing. But I love the drive as much as the doing. And I remember that feeling of I didn't have the weight of the world on my shoulders. I wasn't worried about a dictator. I wasn't worried about world hunger. I wasn't worried about a lot of things maybe I should have been thinking about. But what I saw was the road, and it was pretty. That was the thing. It was really pretty around here, and it's not as pretty around here as it used to be.
No, it is not. The
We
thing
don't get,
I used to love to do in the summer was drive after dark
yeah.
with the window down and maybe
Mhm.
some jazz
Mhm.
on the CD player,
Mhm.
and because it felt like being in a movie.
Yeah.
It was
It just,
beautiful, and the traffic was not terrible.
that's
Yeah,
right.
but
And it
I haven't
was,
done that literally in years.
yeah. Well, and it's still, even describing it, we're still not really conveying it the way that we could, I guess. Or for
Mm-mm.
me, part of it was when I say it was pretty back then, I meant it wasn't covered up with a bunch of houses.
Yep.
I would clearly, when I was able to, I could clearly see mountains, and they were green. They weren't dotted with development or construction. And the thing that I really love that I remember is that there really weren't very many signs on the road. I mean, you'd get a billboard that said, "Where you be in eternity, heaven or hell," and you might have yeah, you might
John
that one bothered
3:16.
yeah, well, that one bothered me. I would see it on the way to Robbinsville, and I'd think, oh no, you know. But yeah, I really like driving back then. And now, even if I'm driving in the country, it is so not the same. So not the same.
No. That's a really good point. The whole driving driving stuff.
Yeah.
And I
The-
remember we didn't. There were times when we didn't have two cars, and Joe worked downtown, and he'd have to be picked up at 11 o'clock at night. Well, 11:15, something like that. And I never hesitated to just get in the car, roll the window down, crank some music up, and do it's about an 11-minute drive from my house to where he worked. And I never thought about panhandlers coming up to me asking for money or somebody grabbing my arm because it was hanging out the car. I never thought of any of that stuff.
the
And I
word
had a studio.
carjacking.
Yeah, I had a studio downtown for many years, many
Mm.
years. And I never worried about coming in or going out late. I just never thought about any of that. And I don't think there's an extraordinary amount of crime in Asheville, not really, but it makes it uncomfortable. It
It
makes it
is.
unpleasant.
Yeah, it's not, I don't really have a reason to joyride. I mean, I wouldn't anyway because of the gas situation, but I don't really, it's not joyful. It's me going from point A to point B and getting there with the least discomfort. That's literally all it is anymore. And so that's a little depressing for me. But I've tried before to kind of describe life back then, and I never can do it justice. It always comes out sounding, flat.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, part of it for me anyway is that there were times when I was off work and I was
Mhm.
really off work. I really didn't
Yeah.
have, a list as long as my damn arm of stuff that had to be done. I did my job and then I was off. And now I never feel like I get off.
Yeah.
Well, not that exactly, but I feel like I don't ever have any time off.
Well, you are the master of your destiny, and if you're not out there hoofing it, it ain't just gonna fall in your lap. You have to make your own luck sometimes in the world. And
Yes,
that's what you've
yes.
done. That's what you've done.
Well, and
And
that's generous of you to say it like that, but I am the master of my own destiny. So if I really want to have time off, I should, by God, take time off.
and I know that you do when you can, and even then it's not, you don't completely relax. You don't stop thinking about work and stuff.
I
How
don't,
could you?
and I'm leaving town a week from yesterday to go to Middle Tennessee to pay for Pagan Unity Fest. And that's going to be a lot of fun. It's a whole bunch of people that I really, really like.
Yeah.
And I know the campground. So, I know it's going to be cozy and comfy. And I don't know how hot it's going to be because I haven't checked that yet. But yeah, all of that stuff is going to be really good. It's a long drive over there, but not terrible. But it means I'm leaving here. I'm leaving here for a week. So
Hmm.
what's gonna happen while I'm gone? What's gonna happen?
Who
And what's
knows?
gonna happen is I'm not gonna be here, and I need to just let it go. Let it go. But we're gonna see if I can do that.
I hope you can. I hope you can.
I hope I can too.
You teach people and you taught people for years how to ground, how to do all of these other techniques. And I know that you have studied Tai Chi. I know that you have. And I know that
Yes,
you have studied Buddhism.
I have.
Yeah. As she makes the what is that opening? What is that called? I
That was me doing cloud hands. Cloud hands.
Okay, okay, thank you. Yeah, so the techniques are something that you know in your brain for getting your mind calmed and your body and all in sync with the breathing and all of that. You teach people that all day long.
And those
So
techniques, I have to say, those techniques have saved me in the last 7.5 months.
me too.
I would
Yes.
have been in Broughton in a padded room without being able to stop, ground, put my shields up.
Yep.
Breathe deep, breathe deep, four square breathing. I tell you, there were times that I would have probably, I don't even know what I would have done, but I didn't do it because I had those techniques literally at my fingertips
So it's
because I have been teaching them for decades at this point.
yeah.
But there
So
comes a point, like I was so tired, I don't know, I guess it was probably back in January, February, and I was saying how tired I was, and someone, and I can't remember who it was, said, "Well, but you always tell us when we get tired, we should just ground ourselves and take energy out of the earth." And I said, "Here's the difference. So when you're tired, you can drink an energy drink, and that'll give you a little shot of energy, and you can get through whatever you have to get through that's an immediate thing. But that's not the same as getting 3 good nights sleep in a row and eating the kind of nutritious food that supports your body. So
mhm.
those are the difference in those two things. So yes, oh my God, yes, do I ground and pull energy into me? That's still the level of work that you and I both are doing right now is exhausting work. And we
And
can we can take a shot of uh, magical Red Bull, and that might get us through, but that's not going to solve the problem.
well, yeah,
Because the
and I
problem is
wanna
a body that needs rest and a soul that needs rest.
and I wanna add something to it. There's a difference in being super tired and being depleted. And
Yes, yes,
that would be us. We're depleted.
yes,
And even the farmers know that you rotate your crops and you let a field rest every so many years if you want it to continue to produce food. And we know that, and you know that. You know it better than I do, I'm sure. It's just very
absolutely.
hard to do. It's just hard to do sometimes. And there have been many times in the last however many months when you've had to say, or I've had one of us has had to say, well, I know I should be doing such and such, but there's this huge need that I can't ignore.
Yes,
So these are decisions that we made, and our exhaustion mentally, emotionally, physically, that's what we should expect, I guess. Well, I
well,
guess.
and because it is not as hard as it used to be, but it still can be hard. Like right now, we are not accepting a lot of donations at the temple because we're undergoing a major renovation.
Mhm.
And I didn't feel like we could be stripping everything out and paint walls and all
Yeah.
that stuff and also doing relief work. And of course, because we are making a conscious decision about that, then I keep hearing, so have y'all just given up on that? Are you just not doing that anymore? Should I bring food? Should I what? And I try my best just to be calm about it,
Yeah.
to not take it personally because they don't mean it personally. They just know that for a while it was a constant drumbeat of we need this, we need this. And now I'm not beating that drum because we are so busy doing this other work. When this work is done, then we are going to have we have right now a beautiful room that is cleared to receive everything people want to bring. So it won't be like that first 5 months where you could not move in the temple because of the stacks of water and food and hot hands and Mr.
Mr.
Peter
Buddy.
Buddy. Yes, exactly. And all that and bags of clothes and boxes of toys and all that stuff.
But
And now in about a month, we're going to be ready to just go, okay, now it's summer. And these are the needs that we are hearing in our community. And this is what we need from you. But right now, we have another need, and that's to make that space work because not only was the fire marshal very direct with us, the fire marshal has been direct with many people in that building. So there's things happening all over that building, new exit signs, all kinds of stuff. So we're just in that same mode. We're going to tidy up and clean up, and we're going to make it more usable and more workable. But that doesn't stop. me from feeling a little bit guilty because there's some work that needs to be done somewhere that we are not doing.
Yeah, I don't know how to help you with that because I
You
deal with
can, you
it.
can't.
I
That's
mean,
me. I have to play a mind game with myself and go, you know what you're doing right now, you have to do. So you do it.
if I wish that I could be as efficient as some people in taking care of myself. They just do it without any problem as a routine and just, no guilt. They don't
Yeah.
care if they're. I wish I could do that. Thus far, I haven't been all that successful at it, but I try. I do okay. I do
Well,
okay.
I'm better. I got my annual physical tomorrow, and
Oh,
I'm kind of excited to go there so that she can see how
mhm.
much better I am than the last time she saw me.
Yeah.
Because the last time she saw me, I was literally malnourished. I
Here.
was I had not drunk near. I was dehydrated. I was deficient in magnesium and vitamin D and a whole bunch of other stuff. Plus, I was dealing with all that terrible pain. So she gets to see me tomorrow, and I've got more hair growing on my head, which is nice. And I'm not in chronic pain. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to, I'm looking forward. It's going, you may laugh about this, but I don't think you will. I'm looking forward to stepping on the scales and having her see that I've not lost more weight.
Oh wow.
And, and in my life, that has never been a thing.
That's well. That take that as a victory
Yeah, I
because that's
do.
what
I
that.
do.
Yeah. You get, and every now and then you get to have those. But and
Yep.
and the other thing that I would say when you were talking about the temple, when you look back, are you not proud of all the work that got done?
Oh my
Are
gosh, I am. I am.
yeah.
Um,
Can you imagine
I
being
was
Amy Cantrell though? Looking back,
no,
going, well,
no,
I started from where and where am I now?
and she is always the golden light, isn't she? She
Yeah.
has done so much. She's just amazing. She and Pancho both just amazing, and all of the people that help. That's a big community of helpers and doers.
Well, boy, have they had a big impact on people. I mean, in a good
They have.
way. In a good way, yeah. And now they're doing housing and stuff. It's just amazing what people can
Yeah.
get done. Now, right now, I
Oh,
don't feel like one of those people that gets amazing things done, but a little rest, a couple good nights sleep, going out of town for a couple of nights, and that ought to
yeah.
sometimes. Who was that? Who sang it? Changes in attitude, changes in latitude.
It's Jimmy Buffett.
Buffett. Thank you. Yeah, that's kind of what I need. I think it's just a little change in my view to
You
forget
need
a
to be
few of
wasting
the.
away again in Margaritaville.
I've never been wasting away in I'm gonna tell you something. I've never tasted a margarita in my life. I've never tasted one. I have no idea what I'm missing.
Eh.
I don't. I've never tasted tequila in my life. Don't laugh. I really haven't. I,
Well,
I'm,
you're not required to do that, but I'm laughing because my buddy Adam, who gave me my Jolene cast iron
uh-huh.
pan, uh, I contacted him. He's got a beautiful garden, and I said, "Would you like to have some mojito mint? Because it's running wild in my garden, and I'd love to pull some up for you." So I did that today and brought it into him, and then I texted him to say the mint was there. It was a little droopy, but it was there, and he brought his partner with him. And they both go, oh, oh, that smells good. Oh, and his partner was saying, it's making me think of mojitos. Maybe we could just go home and have some mojitos. And I said,
Yeah.
well, the plant's going to have to be cut back so that it puts its energy into its roots and thrives. I said, so you're going to have to cut a bunch of this off anyway, so you might as well go by the ABC store on your way home
On the way.
and get a bottle of white rum and enjoy yourself.
And my name is Instigator. How are you? Yeah.
I want to get back to the place, and I'm slowly getting there, where I am encouraging people to have fun and to enjoy.
I mean, not to say that the mule is all the way out of the ditch, but there's
Gosh, we haven't done that. We haven't done that metaphor in a while.
the mule in the ditch. No, we lived it. We didn't have to talk about it.
It is
We
true.
lived it. Yeah, I had another idea, great idea for a t-shirt. It just needs to say, "It ain't over yet." That's it. Nothing else. It ain't over yet. And everybody who thinks they're going through something, including me, would buy a t-shirt like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it ain't over yet.
It ain't over yet. We could be talking about politics, supper, somebody's boyfriend, whatever.
It ain't over yet.
It ain't over yet. Yeah. So
I watched a little video today, and the kind of funny tagline was, "I'll tell you later. I'll tell you later." I thought that'd make a nice T-shirt too. I'll tell you later.
that's the start. Yeah, that's a good one. And you need to get out of my brain. I was getting ready to say, what are you watching on YouTube? I watched one that it is a gal, and I really liked it. Let me see if I watched it this morning, so I may be able to find it. The meteorite that buried Michigan. And she's a gal named Alexis Dahl, Dahl. And she tells a story about the Sudbury impact. So I'm not, the Sudbury impact is this giant meteorite that hit in Sudbury. And I guess that's in Canada. And of course, this little town that this gal is in is 50 miles away as the crow flies. And there are all these giant boulders and stones and stuff around the town, and nobody really knew why. And they slowly began to realize that this is where this humongous meteor hit, broke some stuff apart, and then these are just the rocks that bounced out, and they bounced that far out.
Wow. So is the meteor still in the crater?
Yes, evidently, but it's buried because she was telling me that it made a crater the size of maybe Detroit or something. But I really liked, I'm going to send it to you because you'll appreciate the way she told the story. She was enthusiastic and she was clear and concise, and she talked to this guy named Robert Dietz, Dietz, who was the local expert on geology and stuff, and he went into a lot of detail, and it was fascinating. It was. And I have no idea why I'm telling you. Oh, I was asking you what you watching lately. So yeah,
my buddy Nicholas Crawford has not posted a lot of stuff lately, so I don't know what's going on with that.
David Attenborough, is that how you say his name? He's one of my favorites, and he has not been posting much lately. I imagine it's his age. Isn't he 100 or close to it?
He's older than Methuselah. I think he just turned 99.
Yeah. I'll never forget that story you told me about him and wearing the same pants
about his blue shirt.
Yeah.
That's so practical. I tell you, I turned on the TV the other night when I was just kind of piddling, getting ready for bed, and it was part of Saturday Night Live's 50th birthday celebration, whatever it was. And there was some damn band that I'd never heard of before. And I swear to God, I've heard teenage garage bands that were better than that band. So I don't know who it is on the staff they had their way with to be on this show. They were just awful. And they had like every sort of faddy thing. So you knew how the girl was going to look, and she was going to have some wild colored hair, and she was going to have some fishnets and I just thought, I am sick of people that, here, look how original we are. And it's like, you are like a cookie cutter of all of these things. And it just, God. And if they'd been a decent band, I would have been listening to the music and not looking at them like, really? That's a haircut? That's like the official haircut for your generation doing this kind of boring music? Oh, right.
And
I was just like,
I did have a t-shirt that said, I'm unique like everybody else.
Yes,
Oh,
that's
why?
exactly it.
Unique like everybody else. So,
Every
yeah.
every tribe needs their way of dressing, needs their logo, needs their icons. Hmm.
Well, I'm glad that I'm beyond most of that. I hope I am anyway. I'm glad that I'm beyond that. I
I,
like being Appalachian. I still give myself that one, but
yeah, yeah, me too. Yeah, I'm just not. I'm not in with the in crowd, and it's just not something I ever aspired to because I wasn't in with the in crowd. So it wasn't like I wanted to sit at that table in the lunchroom because those people were
I
mean, and I didn't want to be mean.
was gonna say I'm not so sure that it would have been such a thrill. I mean, it just they're not a lot of them. Well, no, that's a cliche, and I shouldn't just say it, but there were a lot of people in the upper tier of popularity, and part of the reason they got there is because of the way that they looked, and they were kind of vain about it sometimes,
Well, and they had
and
money, and they had money.
they had the money to be able to
Yeah, because that
sustain
it
those
was a
looks.
class thing, and I
Yeah,
never would have realized that
yeah.
at the time. I just thought that there were, terrible things wrong with me that they couldn't see that I was nice and creative and funny and all that. And well, but I also was raised up in a cove in, in the country, and my family didn't have money.
Well, privately, my thought about the people in the preppiest clubs were piss on them. I don't care. I mean, I just, and I never did really care that much. And I think because I had that attitude, I, it helped me a lot in school because I would freely walk up to any damn group and expect them to like me. And if they didn't, I just didn't care. I'd just go to the next group or go find my friends or something. And I'm real, I don't know how that happened because that's not like me in a lot of ways, but that really was my attitude was there's a lot of
Yeah.
humans out there that do like me. And if y'all don't, it's because you're dumb. You can't see my value. Although I'm sure I didn't think about it that way when I was in high
Well,
school, but
you were very mature for high school. And I swear, I never would have walked up to any of them. And I can see them now with their leather jackets on, and the girls dressed a certain way, and their hair was a certain way. I never would have walked up to them because I knew how much they harassed me in junior high school and my freshman year in high school. They made my life pretty damn miserable. And it wasn't until I was like a sophomore, I guess, that I kind of got my sea legs underneath me. And then I was in a place where I had friends, and I had found my weirdo group, and then it was okay, and then they didn't bother me much anymore.
yeah. Well, I was always the new girl, because of
Oh,
the number of
right.
schools that I went to. The place that I was the most at home would have been TC Robertson for 3 years, but that's
Yeah.
the longest I went to anywhere in a row. So it was, yeah. So, and I'm not complaining. It just is what it is. But it taught me to get out in front of strangers. And of course, my grandfather was Mr. Social, Mr. Mayor. They called him Mayor Frank. That's what they called him. And he never met
Oh,
a stranger, never. And if he did, they wouldn't be a stranger for very long. It was a personal challenge to him. I've watched him many times win people over just by being real with them and just by not BSing, but saying something nice. You don't
yeah.
have to be fake to be nice. And
No.
and he would say something nice and they'd talk about something and the next thing you know, they'd smile and he'd win them over. And I loved watching that. I did, you know. To have that kind of social personality in my grandfather was interesting for me. I just thought that the sun rose and set, on my
Yeah.
grandparents, on all of my relatives really, but on my grandparents especially. So they could do no wrong.
There you go.
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
that.
Now I'm sick in my 60s, and I know They probably did plenty wrong, but they were good enough to where I didn't notice.
Well, and they were people that loved you, and that uh, that counters for a multitude of sins.
It most certainly does.
Yeah.
And I also had an advantage in that, and I didn't realize it until the last few years, really talking with you, talking with Ilsa and others who are into and know about genealogy. But a large part of my confidence was because I felt like I know exactly who I am. And for good or bad, it's not all good, but I knew exactly who I was. And so it made a difference for some reason. And
It
that,
does. It absolutely does. We want to acknowledge, I think, these big storms coming through, and that Kentucky already got hit hard.
yeah,
Kentucky, Tennessee, Virginia, Missouri, all sorts of places got hit really hard, and they're getting hit hard again. So know that our thoughts are with you all, and our prayers, such as they
uh,
are.
yeah, thoughts and prayers. Well, I'm watching the weather get wound up. It started out as a beautiful, nice, easy day with light blue sky and pretty occasional puffy clouds.
Yeah,
And now what we're looking at is overcast. And it's white and gray, and there's wind, a little bit of a constant little bit of wind, just a little, just enough
yeah.
to where you know that the clouds are moving in. Here comes the front. I guess cat dogs over there in Hendersonville right now going, "Wah!"
Well, I'm looking out the kitchen window, so all I can see really is into the oak tree. And it has gone from being, it's green, it's spring, it's lovely, to now it's dark green. So that means we probably got black clouds coming over here, taking out the light.
I have not seen a real weather forecast yet, but I can tell you it looks different. And there's a feeling when the pressure is changing in my
Yeah,
sinuses. And
yeah.
definitely my sinuses know about this stuff. So are you a person who does weather witching things? Knives in the ground?
Uh, I do some weather witching things. That is not something that's traditionally Appalachian. To cut the storm, that I think that comes out of uh New Orleans and down in the Gulf Coast.
I had never heard of it. And
Yeah, no, I hadn't
I,
either. Cassie does it. Casimira.
mm,
She was the one
I'm
who taught me about that. And she said, I put a knife in the ground, I cut that storm in half. It goes right around me. And I love the idea of that, but that's not something we've ever done around here.
I hadn't heard of it until last year or so. And I kind of
Yeah.
like the idea of it. And I just thought it was one of those things that, well, I guess everybody else in the world knows about it and I don't. So,
No, I learned this thing where you put your strong hand over your soft hand and you drive the storm away this way. And the words that you say are go away to the north, or wherever you want to send the storm to. Go away to the north, go away to the north, go away to the north.
I
And
wonder if you could send it
you
to us.
send it away.
Wonder
Huh?
if you could send it to a specific residence.
Go to the south, go to Mar-a-Lago, go
That's
on
right.
down
Get out of
there.
my brain. I mean,
Oh golly.
nothing but the
And
biggest.
there's a couple of other I think more modern ways to do weather work where you ground yourself, you plant yourself like a tree, and then you imagine that your body grows up and up and up, taller than the house, taller than the trees, all the way to the sky. And once you are in among the clouds, you push the clouds away.
Oh, wow.
And that's something I think that's a little more modern, but it's the same concept that you use your personal, well, not your personal energy, but you use the energy that you've acquired in order push to push the clouds out and away.
That's an interesting thought. Huh. Okay. Well, and are you watching any TV yet? Are you, last time we talked, you were dipping your toe back into some stuff. Was it
I just watched that thing on PBS called Miss Austen,
okay?
and it was about Jane Austen's family and Jane Austen's older sister specifically. And I hate to even admit this among educated listeners, but I'm not a big fan of Jane Austen, and I never have been. Again,
Yeah.
maybe it's a class thing. I don't know, but I didn't realize that her older sister had burned the majority of her correspondence and her letters. And
Oh,
so the book that this show was taken from was all about explaining why the sister burned the letters. And
oh,
so, I mean, the acting was good. It was a little slow going in places, but directing was good, acting was good, the script was good, the characters were very well drawn. Um, so I really enjoyed that.
yeah. That sounds like an interesting one. I'm still not there yet. I'm still doing the YouTube thing, but I'm doing longer YouTube. So in other words, I'm doing David Attenborough documentaries, and he'll
Mm-hmm.
do, he'll we'll see I'll see an hour long documentary, and I'm doing PBS stuff, and I'm
Uh-huh.
watching the Smithsonian while I still can, and
Oh, while
enjoying
they're
that
still a
very much.
Smithsonian.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well,
That I don't know what to
I
say.
did something this weekend that I thought I was doing it for one reason, but the other reason is valid too. So, I told you we had some people over for Joe's birthday, some of his former coworkers,
Yeah.
and two of them are smokers. So I cleared the shoe shine. On my porch is a shoe shine bench that belonged at my grandfather's barber shop. So I cleared all the crap and detritus off the shoe shine bench so they could sit there and smoke. And
Mm.
y'all, I told Alicia all this stuff earlier today, so she's nodding very
I'm not.
sagely. Um,
Yes.
and but now what it means is that I've got a cleared bench on my front porch for the first time literally in years, and that I could come out there with a cup of tea and just kick back, listen to the birds, look at my yard, look at the flowers. It's good. It's very
I,
good.
that is good. I'm trying to establish routines that are good for me, that I might
Good.
have a chance of following. You know, in the mornings, I'm having my cup and I'm listening to the birds. I'm doing it outside if I can, eating,
Mm-hmm.
having, and that's been good. I'm learning some about birds. I've got a bird nest in Hendersonville over by the porch, and it started out with one egg, and now it's got five. And yep, and
Wow.
I'm relatively sure that I know what kind of bird is doing it. I think. Um, I need to see the bird one more time, but I couldn't because cat dog came out there, and see, we've got these two ferns right outside the screen there. And of course, he saw the bird, he saw the fern move, and he saw the bird, and he went into cat move, which is non-move. Well, cat move is where whatever he was doing, he just stopped and he didn't move for like however long. He just froze. But he
Because then
had
he was
murder.
invisible.
Yeah, he had murder in his eyes. He didn't. He did. He had murder in his eyes, and he went from being a hey, look at me, I'm cat dog, come pay me attention, or I'm going to scratch something of yours or knock it off on the floor. He went from that to I'm going to kill that. I'm going to catch that and kill it.
Yeah.
and he
That, I mean, they
and
are murderous. They're totally murderous.
man, it was an instant reflex with him. So cat dog doesn't get to be out on the porch alone anymore for a while because he could slice that screen with just one with his oh yeah.
Yeah.
And he would is the thing. So that's just anyway, but five eggs, I tell you. Five of
Wow. I tell you, don't underestimate uh our instincts. Because you can domesticate a cat as much as it is even remotely possible, and they still got instincts, just like all of us. We got
Yeah.
instinct.
Yep. Do you believe that humans have the instinct to kill? I heard that argued one time in college.
Well, I guess I would say that humans have the instinct to protect their young, and that can include killing, and maybe the instinct for self-preservation
That's where I
that
was.
that might include killing. Because
Mhm.
I I don't know how many people that I know who are parents who it's really clear that if somebody was going for their kid, then they'd be between them and the kid, and they would do everything they could.
And
And I
that
think
would, yeah.
that's true for a lot of us. You know, you and I were together and somebody started harassing me, you'd be like, oh, and
Oh,
somebody
it'd be
harassing
over.
you, I'd be like, oh,
It'd be
be
over.
whipping out the pepper spray. You don't know.
We'd have to call 911 and say, "Will you please come and rescue the dumbest human on the planet who has been
Right.
over here threatening our friend, my friend? Come get
Better
him.
come now.
Come get him." Well, I don't know what even brought that question on, but I heard it argued by somebody at a college thing I was at that humans
Oh,
had the instinct to kill, and that there were some humans, and I think they were specifically talking about serial killers.
mm-hmm.
Although I can't remember, but I kind of disagree with that. I don't think that we're born with an instinct to be a serial killer. I think that that's something that society puts into us and
I think that's
and
an
our life experiences.
aberration. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. No, I don't think we're
Uh,
born being serial killers.
yeah. So this was some weird college debate. This was a long time ago. But and I have no idea why I even remembered it to ask you, because it was not, to me, it's not worth spending too much more time on.
It
So
is
let's just change that.
it's a good question though, I think.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
So somebody the other day texted me, and I hadn't heard from this person in a long time, and they had gotten into the pot, okay, for the first
Into
time
what? I'm sorry. Into what?
into weed, the
Oh,
marijuana,
okay. Yeah.
and they said I'm fitting to pound dirt up my nails and have it. No, wait, that's not the right one. Anyway, found some real stuff in my drawer. I was calling while I'm wakey bakey. Got any stoner things to talk about? And I didn't. And so I couldn't think of anything, and I didn't have time to talk. And I just said, I said, "Do you think it's biblical times right now?" I said, "Does it feel like the apocalypse?" And I said, "Do you notice that people are really, really, really wanting to have a good time and forget more than usual?" Because this person works at a bar.
Oh,
They work at a
you
bar, and she was on that subject for 2 days afterwards. She was texting me back, and I was like, "Okay."
so you posed that question to somebody who didn't wake and bake.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, and she works at a bar, and so she sees everybody, and she's one of those people that has one of those questioning minds. And so, that was the only one I could think of.
That I love that. That's so funny.
Yeah.
A friend of mine sent me a note today on Messenger and said, I've done something terrible and I need to vent to somebody. Can I vent to you?" I said, "Yeah, sure, why not?" So it was a long, long, long. Yeah, he had done something pretty awful. Not, not
Yeah.
morally awful, but he had done
Yeah.
something, yeah, that was going to get him in trouble. Um, and got to the end of it. And I said, "Well, I mean, you didn't ask me for any advice, so I guess all I'm going to say is, well, I love you, buddy. Good luck." And he responded with, "Well, I think I know what to do, but I don't know. I just had to talk it over with my bartender." I said,
It's all
"Okay, I
right.
get it. I get it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you
I
just
mean,
need to say it."
sometimes you want to go where everybody.
Everybody
Anyway,
knows. Hey, that guy died.
what guy?
George, is that his name? The kind of heavy set guy in Cheers?
Oh, I've never seen the show.
Oh,
I,
oh,
I just know
yeah.
the song.
That no, that's not his name, but anyway, the heavyset guy in Cheers. They
From
did a thing on it on the end of the news today, and he
okay.
died.
Oh, I wonder what. Okay, from Cheers.
Norm.
George Wendy, known for his role as Norm Peterson.
Yeah.
Oh, he was 76 years old. It said he died peacefully in his sleep. And it was on the 32nd anniversary of the series finale of Cheers. Wow. And here's his picture. Okay. I don't know this person, but I'm okay.
Yeah, I
And
used to watch that show. I liked it.
what was it about?
A bar,
A bar.
and the kind of people who are always hanging around in the bar. The setting was the bar.
Oh,
And
barflies.
and sometimes they'd be in somebody's apartment, but mostly they were at the bar.
Gotcha. I gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Huh. Do you think a show with that like that would go nowadays if anybody did a show like that?
I don't even know. I see these modern situation comedies and
Mhm.
they're not funny. The situation is usually tragic and heartbreaking, and I just don't find it funny.
Mhm. Yeah.
Except for I haven't seen a lot of these, but there's a show called Abbott Elementary School, and it's pretty funny.
Abbott Elementary School. Okay.
Yeah, and it's the teachers and the students and how they get by in kind of a low income public school.
Huh.
That's funny.
Well, the last thing that I remember watching on TV was the Dune series on it was HBO maybe or something like that. And there was
Aren't we about time for another one of those?
hopefully any day now, hopefully any time now. I'm so ready. Oh my God. That gave me my best movie experience of my life was the last Dune movie. I waited until the last week that I knew it was going to be out of the theater. And I went on a Monday morning at the earliest show that I could find. And I was completely in there by myself. And it was wonderful.
Oh, how nice.
Yeah, yeah.
I haven't seen a movie in a theater in so long.
That was the last one I'd seen. And the one before that was the other Dune movie. I miss them. I enjoy movies and I miss going to them, that's for sure. But I just kind of got out of that habit, I guess. So,
Yeah, me too. Me too. And I mean, they are a lot more expensive than they used to be, but it would be worth it if I saw an ad for a movie that I thought I would like, I'd go see it. A lot
well,
of people recommended that movie Sinners
didn't even hear
and
about
said
it.
I should see that. Oh, it's really good. It's really good, but it's got I think vampires or zombies or something in it. And I knew that, Joe's not comfortable with that kind of stuff. He doesn't like horror or any of that.
Mm.
He's happier
Yeah,
with a nice comedy.
yeah, that's I'm comedy girl. I need comedy, documentary, whatever. When I see violence and stuff on TV, I my brain can't separate it with reality. And I have really strong gut reactions to it. And
Yeah,
I
me
don't know.
too.
It's a me thing, I guess.
Well,
But
and for me, it's torture. So I can't, I will not abide it. And I tuned in, I guess, on one of the first of the Game of Thrones, and it had rape and torture and whatever else. And I said, I don't think this is for me.
yeah, that's why I didn't want to watch it either. Somebody told me about the
Yeah,
first episode. And
yeah.
I'll come into my mom's house and as a person who retired from working in surgery, she loves mysteries and all of that, and she can't see the television that she's got on, so she listens to the TV. So I'll come in and she'll have that. She listens to this. I think it's CSI or something,
Oh
some
yeah,
sort of
yeah.
show. And I'll walk in the door. There'll be a dead body on a table, and mom's just there eating supper. So I'm like, oh my God,
So
what
for
the
her,
hell?
it's like a radio play.
Exactly. God. That'll
Oh,
wake you
that's
up.
funny.
Yeah, well, it's just that's just my wacky mom, I guess. So she every day she tells me to go out and look at that. See, check on those cucumbers, Alicia. She wants me to make sure those cucumbers are still doing okay and those peppers okay.
Are they okay? Now, do y'all want some of these tomato plants, or did you get tomatoes?
We would adore some if you just one, just two, and I'm happy to pay you for them.
No, God, no. I tell you what, tomorrow I will pot up. I've got San Marzano, which is a paste tomato, and then Mortgage Lifter, and they're good. And I'll pot them up into slightly bigger pots and water them good, and then I can either leave them on the porch or leave them down at Weird Mountain or wherever.
You are the best wherever. Thank you. Whatever
I'll
works.
let you know once they're potted up, and you can
Yeah,
figure that out.
that's that is so awesome. Thank you. Tomorrow is
Well,
my
thank
shop.
you for giving them a home.
Yeah, I love tomatoes. So tomorrow I'm shopping for clothes and food. I have to make potato salad, for 60.
For 60, yes.
Yes. And so
What kind
I
of
have to
clothes are
figure
you
out how
shopping?
much potato salad that is. I don't know.
Well, what clothes are you shopping for?
Um, well, I've got a blouse that I like already, and it's kind of a tropical print. And I'm not wearing a dress. I haven't seen any that I liked lately. I don't want to wear any dresses, and I'm just not going to. So I'm looking for some navy blue pedal pushers. And I think that'll be fine. Just simple clothes, and I'll have nice jewelry or something. Nice
Yeah,
accessories. I'm gonna do my
yeah.
hair up in a big old turban kind of thing with big giant scarf kind of thing right there. So
That's
yeah,
when you're wasting away in Margaritaville. That's when you do that.
man. I'm not gonna waste away in Margaritaville, but I'm gonna float around on all that good sound. I can tell you now. I
Oh, you're
will
gonna have
try.
such a wonderful time.
I'm gonna try and live stream the actual wedding if I can figure out,
Mm.
and I'll send you a link if I can. And I'm quite sure there'll be some recording of some of the music. So some of the folks I myself have not seen for 20 or 25 years. And then a couple of them I've
Wow.
never met, but only heard about in legend. And so, yeah, looking forward to it. You know it.
I'm looking at myself on the monitor. And doesn't this look like the
Oh,
cover of a Queen album?
yeah.
I'm trying to get the light right.
Y'all should
You
see
can
her.
pretend I'm Brian May.
I wish. I wish you were Brian May. I'd come over there and say, "Can I have your autograph? And will you teach me something?" Because I know he could. Anyway,
I'd have
well,
him come and help me in the garden because he's a big gardener.
oh, I didn't know that. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I know that when you get back, the nest of singing birds are up there in Marshall pretty
Yes,
often.
they are at the
And
old jail.
I was looking after you told me about that, and I really do want to go and see them.
Me too.
I'm
Me
looking
too.
forward to it. I want to hear them sing. I'm looking forward to me and you hanging out with them or us or whatever, whatever. I'm just looking forward to
Yes.
good music. So, and on that note, I think I should let you go. I've taken up your whole evening again.
I see a little silhouette of a man. Scaramouche, Scaramouche, will you do the fandango? Y'all, I should probably do a screenshot of what I look like right now. All I need is that big crazy hair that all the people in Queen had. That super curly, wonderful rock star hair.
He's got the best. He's got the best.
Golly. I got my fiddle out the other day and tuned it.
Oh, really?
I know. It was unbelievable. And what did I
Was
do?
it?
I played Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, the ABC song, and I squealed my way through the Ashokan Farewell. Oh.
Oh,
I would stop periodically and go, "Ooh, do I need to rosin the bow?" No, you just need to press down harder. What is
it's
wrong with you? So,
nothing at all. So
not enough
nothing
practice.
is wrong with you at all. You just need to practice a little bit
That's
and
right.
keep on
No, I need to
getting,
practice a big bit.
well, you know,
It'll all
yeah,
be fine.
it will. Actually, it will. So, and
All
the
right.
other
Well,
thing, when you come back, I want to hit down at the river. I really do
yeah,
want us to get
yeah,
there. So,
yeah, yeah.
anyway, all right.
And
Well,
I'd love to, once she's got, she had that big old field of datura, and I'd love to get some seed for that because I've lost all of my daturas here. So,
we
yep, let's do
definitely
it.
need to. Okay.
Yep,
All
yep.
right.
All right.
Well,
Have a
hunker
good
down.
rest of your evening.
Yeah, you too. Hunker down. Don't get too wet. And I hope
Yeah,
everybody's okay through this latest line of
me
storms.
too. And try not to get
Yeah.
struck by lightning.
Yeah.
All
And
right.
everybody, thank you for listening. We appreciate it.
We appreciate you so much, and we appreciate you jumping with us to Friday when the
Yep.
when the new podcast is released Friday at 9 o'clock. In case
9
you were
p.m.
wondering,
Yep.
and we bid Sunday farewell and adieu. Now we're Friday night girls.
We're the Friday girls. So, yep, yep. All
Always,
right.
always. All right, you take care of yourself
You too. And I appreciate you too.
and have a
So
great time this weekend. A
I will. I
great
will.
time. All
And
right.
I'll tell him you said hey and good
Yeah, and
luck and all that.
congratulations. That yeah,
I
and
will.
all the best
Love,
and all best wishes for long and happy, long and happy.
I hope and think that that's exactly what will happen. So, all right. I'll
Good,
see you.
good, good.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye. 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 Bye.